My man.
All views and opinions expressed in this episode do not reflect
Shane Hartline.
Shane Hartline Industries.
Industries?
Sethward is content. 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 Sethward is content.
Okay, check. How we sounding? How we looking? How we feeling? How we vibing? Cool. What's up, everybody? This is Content with Shane Hartline. This is, one of the first episodes. Thank you for tuning in to last week's episode. I'm learning as I do this what I want it to be. It's like raising a kid. When you have a kid, they're just a ball of Play-Doh. And you can make that fucking kid whatever you want them to be. What I envision this show to be is I bring people on. It's kind of going back to the thing that made me the happiest when I was growing up and I was a child. I used to just really love having people come over and just make things without a game plan. And we're in a day and age in this industry especially where it's like everything is made with an agenda. Everything is made to procure more of an audience or land an opportunity. And I have been so consumed with that mindset for such a long fucking time that, to be honest, I sat on this idea for 2 years. Kyle, how long ago do you remember me telling you about content?
2 years.
Exactly. He remembers. That's why he's one of my best friends. I want to get back to at least something that I put out there that has no agenda. So what I mean by that is I want to bring on people that I enjoy, people that inspire me, people that are interesting to me, and tell them that, when you come over, if you want to bring some ideas of something that we can ultimately shoot together, that's fine. But I also like the idea of just sitting down, and if we find something naturally and organic that we can shoot together, I want to show you guys that process because that's such a fun process. And if we don't, this is still content. And that is what got me Gabby these dance moves. Let's set up. So this is my home / apartment / studio. It was the former studio of After We Rap, which I produce, which Kyle also produces. And we have moved shooting that to Jana's beautiful home, which I think just makes a lot more sense, for Jana, and it also I think just optically is a lot nicer. I love my apartment. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to shit on you. You've brought me so many good memes and so many good times, but you don't have a f***ing backyard. It is a fun space, and I've shot so many things here. Like last week's episode with Luke Knoll, we have shot so many sketches in this apartment. And yeah, so now this is also becoming the content headquarters. Today's guest is somebody that has always been so inspiring to me. He's one of the most fearless comedians, comedians, one of the most innovative and inventive comedians. I'll dive more into why I'm such a huge fan of his when he gets here. Kyle, you live with him. Can you give the viewers a quick synopsis of Sethward?
A workaholic circus freak with a obsession with an animal obsession.
Every comedy show that I've ever done with him, he is usually the most memorable part. He is a spectacle, and he is such an interesting human. Heavily inspired by Jim Carrey, why I wore this t-shirt. Sethward is our guest today, and he will be heading over here shortly. I believe he's getting a haircut right now, and he said he's gonna run a little bit behind, but it better be a nice haircut. And if it isn't, I'm gonna haze him. I'm gonna really haze him.
Did he say what he's gonna bring?
He did say he was gonna bring an animal costume, and I said that's up to him. I was doing a show a couple years ago in Los Angeles called the Hopefully Chris Pratt and Shane Hartline Show. Sethward quickly became such a staple because he was always working on these animal costumes. This was back when I really think he first started getting into it. And it's really surreal. I like to do all of my ass kissing before the guests get here.
Right.
But it really is amazing, like what he's turned this very unique passion into. He's been on television. He's taking it and doing it at festivals, and he's had meetings to potentially turn it into a TV show. I think it would be brilliant for him to have a world on television where these characters exist. But what do we know? What do we want to make money here? What do we want? I'm a big fan of Seth. I'm a big fan of a lot of people. I ultimately want to have people on this that I think are really cool people. And some of you watching at home, you might have not seen Sethward. You might have never experienced his comedic style. But I also want to come in with people on this from a different angle. Like, Seth makes a lot of content. Seth has, Kyle, and it's bonkers to me every time I hear this, he has hundreds of hours of footage and sketches that he's never posted.
Yeah.
Yeah? Like, that's incredible to me. I'm such the type of person, when I make something, I just want to post it. I just want to get it out there. So that's something I also want to talk to him about, is why that happens in his head, what prevents him from posting it. But yeah, what else is happening? We saw Casey Rocket last night.
He was nuts.
Casey Rocket. If you guys, I'm sure you know who Casey Rocket is, but if you haven't seen Casey Rocket, look him up on Instagram. It speaks to my comedic appetite. He's insanely funny. Just the energy that he brings to the stage, you looked over at me during the show, Kyle, and you're like, the only thing that it really compares to is like a young Robin Williams. And it's really beautiful to see. I'm a huge Robin Williams fan. So seeing someone bring that energy to the stage like Casey does is just so inspiring. And that's ultimately the type of energy I try to bring to the stage, and to everything that I do. It's just like my comedic taste. It might not be for everybody, but I mean, he sold out 2 nights at the Hollywood Improv, and I think there's a reason for that. I think that he's going to be one of the next big comedians, and you guys should definitely go check him out if you haven't seen Casey.
Yeah, his fan base is crazy and like dedicated, and to be a fan of his is like to join a club.
Yeah, it feels like that, and I think that's kind of, in a way, what every comedian really tries to achieve is just. I know I spoke with last week's guest, Luke. I hate that, ad nauseum. I was about to say something that I never say, but I'm catching myself in a real moment here. I was about to say ad nauseum, and I don't say that in real life. I was about to say that because I'm on camera and I'm trying to be like professional hosty. F***ing don't do that. Just say the things that you normally say.
What's ad nauseum?
You dumb motherfucker. Ad nauseum. It means like saying something all the time. It's like you're saying it repeatedly and repeatedly. But I don't say it in real life, and I've only ever heard people say it on podcasts. And in fact, I hate when people say that. So my guttural reaction or my guttural instinct to say that really pisses me off with myself. Luke and I have spoken now I'm in my head. Get out of your head. Luke and I have talked. What is the right word? I don't even know how to speak now. What is it? Spoken or talked?
We've spoken.
Luke and I have spoken often. Fucking that even sounds weird.
Switch to British. I think you're saying.
We have had many conversations about what do we want out of this career. This isn't even just something Luke and I have spoke about, but I've spoke about this with many of my friends out here. It's like, what do you want? Like, Luke wants, to do comedy shows on the regular basis, people to come to his shows, and you should, if Luke's coming to your town, you should definitely see Luke. But that is a hard thing to get a dedicated fan base to support you. And it doesn't matter if you're a comedian, a musician, it's all kind of the same. It's like, how do you get people to consume or want to consume the content that you're making on a regular basis? That's a very hard thing to do, and I think one of the biggest parts of it is being authentic, and that's really what I'm trying to do with this. It's like so many years, I think I spoke about this last week a little bit, but like so many years of my career, you've only seen me, I've done podcast interviews and stuff, but you've only seen me behind a character. You've only seen me playing a role. This is something where I want to kind of rip all that away and be as authentic as I can be, and that means not saying things like ad nauseum. I had somebody ask me recently, like, oh my God, you have so much gear and equipment. And it's like, I mean, anybody that makes content, and it's like you collect gear. Like some of this stuff I've had for like 10 to 15 years. It's just like you kind of collect gear, you kind of create your own little production company. Honestly, if we needed to make anything, I kind of got something that can help it. Seth should be here soon with a fresh haircut. If he doesn't have a fresh haircut, then he's a lying motherfucker, and we are going to call the cops, because this is a God-fearing home and we abide by the 10 commandments. And if you break one of those 10 commandments, we call the cops. And I don't know if you know this, if you call the cops and you say this is a non-emergency, but it is a 10 commandment correlated event, if you say one of those things, they'll send you to a private line. This is not true. Disclaimer on the screen, don't try this at home. But they'll send you to a private line. Please come over, ask no questions, send the person at question straight to jail. It's not real jail, but it's like, it's church. Take me to church. I think Seth's finally here. We'll put our little flip-flops on.
Our little flippies on for the feet curves.
Downstairs neighbors, I'm sure, love that.
Shit. My man.
Hey, let's take this.
Oh, good. Okay, yes. You got a wireless Pro Rode microphone clipped to neck?
No, I got to see your haircut, because we said the only way we let you on the show is if you had a good haircut.
It's not great. I mean, it's
good.
Fine. Look
beautiful.
at that.
That's a clean hair. I wore this for you.
Much better than.
I wore this for you.
Wow.
You look fantastic. Let's start this.
Let's do this. I brought an animal. So
Okay, we'll see if we get there.
I'm very excited to see what you have in store for me, Shane.
Oh, it's not much, Seth.
Hi.
Come on,
Wow,
in.
you have a
He might
bruise?
run out. Come on, bud. Come on. Good boy.
He loves to run.
Don't run out. Don't run out on us.
Let's just dive right in, dude. But the
dive
idea
right
that
in.
the idea that I have behind this is content without an agenda, in the sense that
Right.
everything that we make always has some kind of fucking agenda.
Yes.
Like, I like the idea of like getting people on the show, seeing where things go. If we end up making something that happens naturally, it happens. But if not, like, we're content with it.
Yes.
Hey, have a seat.
Line.
Make yourself at home.
Man.
And in this one
I
spot.
can live here?
You want some caffeine?
Wow, I could get caffeine too.
You want some caffeine?
No, late boy don't get to have caffeine.
No, you do.
No,
I have a couple.
I'm
Are you
fine
good?
actually. I
You
just
good?
had a coffee, thank you.
Cool.
Can I have this?
Yeah, you can have that. As long as
The
you get it back to
shortest
Bruce.
neck giraffe.
Is that triggering to you?
Literally the shortest neck.
Seeing
Let me
Bruce
Bruce,
attack a
show
giraffe.
the camera. Look. It's a giraffe with no neck. Do you see how this is funny? This is funny because giraffes, they're known for having long necks, and this one doesn't have a long
No.
neck.
He's very self-conscious of it too. He doesn't like when you bring attention to it.
All right, have him chew his guts out.
Is that triggering to you, seeing him chew a giraffe like that?
No, it feels
Kyle,
like
you can sit there if it's more comfortable, or is that not enough space for the...
I don't like this.
You do? Okay. Whatever's more comfortable.
having a dog chew on a giraffe just feels like animalistic.
What I was trying to get to, Seth, is you do animal characters.
Yes, I'm a professional animal impersonator now.
The giraffe is one of your more famous, you'd say? Or is it one of your...
It's probably one of the least appreciated.
Dude.
Well, just because I don't get it out.
Because you got stilts on your feet and your hands.
Yeah, it's not a comfortable thing. I've performed it probably 6 times total. I'm not taking it out to indie shows.
We can keep going. Yeah, that's a tough one. Like, I will say, when I had you on the first, hopefully Chris Pratt and Shane Hartline show, I quickly realized, like, oh, this guy is such a unique talent and he's such a spectacle that, like, you quickly became kind of the main event attraction at all the shows. And because I always knew that you would just crush. And, like, as someone putting on a show, like, you know, it's like, one, we want to give the audience something to remember. Yeah. And 9 times out of 10, like, you were always the thing that they remembered most.
Well, I think that it's the freedom, and I don't know if I was just the color. Like, I think that that's what I bring to shows like that, is that I love, like, the Chris Pratt Shane Hartline show was like, gave every performer the freedom to do what they wanted to a level 11. Like, you're like, go to 11 if you want, or you can support in other ways. Like, and a lot of other shows are like, you have, 4 to 8 minutes, and don't go too crazy, because you don't want the stand-up after you to be like, oh, well, how about that act? Like, you don't want to ruin the energy or whatever. Your show and a lot of variety shows are some way similar, but...
Well, there's an expectation I think people have coming into it that
that
isn't for everybody, because there would...
And that's for me. I love whenever you give the freedom to explore. And so I was happy to explore. But yeah, I think not everybody wants to go to those kinds of shows. A lot of people want to go to a stand-up show and just give like one-liners and then they go home.
Kyle and I don't know if you're familiar with this comedian, Casey Rocket.
I don't know
You need to check him out, because he's a stand-up, but he's got that kind of energy that, like, I think would really speak to you.
Yeah.
But we're not here to talk about fucking Casey right now. No, thanks for doing this, man. We've met a lot recently, because you and I think you and I have more in common than most people might realize. Like, we're for sure workaholics.
Yeah, that's the big... I think that's one of my...
And I think we're both hitting like a point. I know I am. It's like what I literally talked to my therapist about yesterday, of like hitting a point of, okay, this isn't super healthy. Like, how do we get where we want to in this industry without doing it at this pace? Is that even possible? Because this is the only gear I've ever known.
Yeah.
And I know you're similar.
Well, first off, you're going to therapy, so that's already a healthy choice that you made. Something better than what I've done.
Okay. But your maybe your animal performances are a bit of therapy.
That's the therapy. I use the audience as my therapist. I'm like, I'm okay, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna live. I'm not gonna die today. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely should go to therapy, but I think that there is a lot to be said about like getting older and realizing that like there's more value in life than accomplishing the hypothetical insane goal that you set yourself up for years ago, or even this morning. Like, I think age helps with that, and I think talking to friends who have similar situations helps a lot. Like being like, did you accomplish all of your goals that you thought you'd get to by 30? No. How about 35? No, definitely not. Okay, so where are you going like in the next 5 years? Like, having these conversations, I think, is huge. Especially with people that I know like aren't like sitting on the couch all day watching stuff versus like I'll take, man, not that that's bad. I mean, you gotta have entertainment, but I'm like you. I know that you edit your own stuff. I know that you write your own stuff. I know that you produce your own stuff. You make.
Is it hard for you to like shut down and just like watch?
Oh, it's impossible.
It's very hard for me.
I mean, Kyle.
Unless I'm going to a
movie all
movie,
the time.
If I go to the movies, I'm kind of like forced.
It's a weird respect that I have for the entertainment. Like, I don't know. I've got roommates that'll watch, TV just as a way to relax, but they're also like, they're watching a show, but they're like they're on their phone. I've never done that. I was just thinking about that the other day. I was like, I could never not pay attention to the thing, because I'm very picky with what I watch, and I'm like very interested in like, how did they accomplish this show? How'd they do it that way, or this movie? I would never be like, just, and then same with the movie theater, like forget going to the bathroom in the middle of a movie. Like, that's insane to me. How could you go to the bathroom?
I do every time. I get that, because I'm so If I go to the movies, I'm getting the fucking massive Coke Zero, and I down it
I
too
get the
fast.
Slurpee.
I get
Too
down
hard.
it.
The Slurpee's
I
too
down
good.
it too quick.
So then you go to the bathroom in the middle of the movie.
When I
And
feel,
you miss stuff.
but I feel a lull. There is a
You're like, I need to get out.
there is a website that apparently tells you
Yeah,
the
it's
best
great.
point.
I've seen that.
That's a good idea.
But I've never had any interest in doing it. I'm like, maybe you have a
I
larger
respect the
pattern.
hell out of that. I'm definitely one of those people that if I watch a movie or something, or even like if I play a video game, it's like my head's spinning in a million different directions on like what I should be doing, but why do I feel this pressure? Like it just goes back to kind of, we're the same age, I believe, and like I feel like we have similar like hardworking parental figures that have kind of like to succeed you have to kill yourself.
You must work hard. That is the key to success.
Unalive yourself.
And I realized this is like in the last 3 years. I think we talked about this over coffee. Is that like the industry that we are in, which our parents weren't in. I believe your parents weren't in the entertainment industry.
I'd take that back. My mom was an extra.
There you go.
In Ocean's 11.
Wow.
Quick tangent story. I got to share this.
This is great.
My mom and I went on an open casting when I was 13 because like I wanted to be an actor since I was a kid. So it's like, background acting for this movie with Brad Pitt and all these people. I was like, this will be like such great bragging rights at middle school when I get this. So we went to the mall. It was like this mall in Tampa, and there was lines of like hundreds of people.
Wow.
My mom got it.
And
I
you didn't?
And I vividly remember, she still gives me shit about this, rightfully so, little fucking titty baby. But she still gives me shit because I remember screaming to her when I found out, like, this was my dream.
Yep.
Slam the door shut. And
I love that.
And she's in the Ocean's 11 in the circus scene, like when it's the two characters sitting there. She's sitting up a couple rows. You can see her big blonde hair.
Okay, so she's a spectator. She's not like a bearded lady.
No.
Okay, great.
But what we were saying was
they grilled into our brains that like literally hard work equals success. And in the entertainment industry, I realized very recently, hard work does not equal success in the entertainment industry. Actually, most of the time, the harder you work, the less likely you're going to succeed because you're not going to parties.
Yeah.
You're not networking the appropriate way that you need to be doing because you're leaning on, I'm just going to make this product better. I'm going to make I'm going to be in my room editing like all day, every day so that I can show them that I'm worthy of success. And no one wants that.
Yeah, that's kind of why I've said this already on the show, but like I have sat on doing something with this content concept for 2 years now.
Yeah.
And something I wanted to pick your brain about is you have hundreds of hours of footage that you haven't released to the world, and like what causes you to like, what is that block? Like what is stopping you? Is it perfection, and then you just end up shooting more and more, and it kind of get like, what is it?
Yeah. It's bottom line, it's perfectionism. It's the idea that I'm not going to put something out into the world that isn't my stamp of like, this is my brand, or this is like good enough to be like have my name on it. And then I also do this monthly show and tell, where I have to make a new video every month. So by the time I would have finalized a project, I had to start a new one in order to get it ready to be screened.
There's just so much.
And they're not finalized for the show because the show is more of a, hey, what are you working on type of show versus here's our finalized masterpiece. It's perfect. It's ready to go online immediately. So I have a lot of special effects, a lot of like music that needs to be put in, a lot of little things that I haven't. It just takes hours and hours of days of editing that I then get put in a backlog of like, well, I will eventually finish this. Okay, well, I'm going to eventually. I think I'm up to 98 sketches that I've shot and are mostly edited enough to be shown at Show and Tell, and just never got uploaded.
If you're in the Los Angeles area, even if you come to visit Los Angeles, if you have the chance to go to a Show and Tell event, it's really special. It's a beautiful thing. Gabby, one of her family members, were in town a couple months ago, and Show and Tell was happening. I'm like, come check this out. And like, he didn't know what he was getting himself into,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he left, and he was like, that was so cool, because I think he got to see like who in like maybe 5 to 10 years, maybe sooner, this might be the future of like film and television and whatever.
Wow.
It's
Yeah,
like really,
yeah.
I think he's like, man, I got to see and be a part of something really special. You,
It feels
I think
good.
another thing that we really have similar about each other is, and tell me if I'm wrong, but it's very hard for me to do something like this. Like I'll do podcasts and stuff, but like this is like, another reason I spent so long trying to figure out what this could be, and you know, it will evolve inevitably, but like I spent so much time like thinking it needed to be more or something dazzling, or
Sure.
I needed to be a character. It's and what I found
Yeah.
is like, and I look back at all that I've done, it's like I have only ever really not hidden, but people only know me through characters, through the roles that I've played.
Definitely.
And you do the same. You do a lot of characters and animal characters and all these crazy things. Like, is it hard for you to be just Sethward
Definitely.
or Seth?
Yeah.
Can I say that?
Can you? You have to pay me to
Yeah,
say that.
to say
name.
your God-given name.
My Christian name.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think that the biggest thing with clowning is you get to play this dichotomy of, are you being for real, or are you being like a stupid version of yourself, or the clown version of yourself, or just the heightened version of yourself. And I always loved the like Andy Kaufman like idea that like the public didn't really know ever who was the true Andy Kaufman. And so growing up, I was like, okay, that's like something I would love to aspire into, like figuring out. So a lot of my stuff ended up
A little bit
being
like Pee-wee.
is he, is he a character or is he not? And not knowing was always something I loved.
Magic.
But then we get into the world of like the internet, where there's vloggers, there's like a lot of content nowadays, reality TV. All of these things weren't around when Andy Kaufman was popular and was, you know, successful. However much you want to say Andy Kaufman was successful while he was alive. But that completely shifted the entertainment industry into being like, the most valuable thing that an actor can be is a public figure. Because that's what's going to get them jobs. That's what's going to get them, that's their clout on the internet. That's like the thing that leads to a bigger paycheck. If you are only known for projects and you're not making very many projects, then you're not known. You're like barely known in niche categories. So the people who were really able to show, oh, I'm entertaining on and off camera, were more entertaining. And now, this day and age, a lot of people are incredibly popular off camera that don't even know what they do on camera, and they're perfectly content with that. So for me, I'm like always struggling.
Oh, you said content.
That was natural too.
Do you hear that?
It's like our special word.
No, sorry, continue.
I think that what I've struggled with in the past few years is, when I am myself, am I the way I am with you right now? Am I like, this is crazy, I can do all sorts of stuff, and I love doing content with you, Shane. This is, and when you get this, it's so good to see you, buddy.
You feel like you have to like...
That's like dumb clown version of me, which
yeah.
I do a lot. Like,
Yeah.
that's man on the street stuff. That's like other things. It's like kind of stumbling
Seth,
over himself.
That's not who I fell in love with.
Who do you love? And then I've got a third category of like, I'm doing characters, but I stopped doing like Gerald, the guy who doesn't want to bald, like, or I don't know. I didn't even really have names for them. Like the two kids in
You
the
kind of
trench coat
naturally
guy.
fell into the
I
animal.
was like, I'm gonna do Sethward, but he's a cow now. Sethward, but he's a snake. Sethward, but like, so it's just me. And I think that was my biggest thing. Getting to that was me looking at people who were famous from what they did, their first thing. And it's like Kramer. Like, how many people know Kramer's name? Like, the majority of the world don't know Kramer's name. They don't know Michael Richards. They know that he is Kramer. The end, full stop. But Seinfeld, people know Seinfeld's name because his name was Seinfeld on the show. And that was always my thing that I was like, oh, well, then just call myself Sethward. It's a dumb name. It's fun. It's like, whether it's me,
It's memorable.
It's a clown version, or I'm in an animal costume, that's my only name.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I ended up leaning into with this branding concept of like, you can be those things, but then I get to choose what version of myself I am in these different areas.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, like, does it work? Is it a good idea? Has it gotten me success? Not really.
Yes,
so
it
who
has.
knows?
Yes,
it's
it
just the
fucking
way I'm
has,
starting
man.
to
Like,
find.
you've taken something that nobody's doing and have done it on such a massive scale repeatedly, and regardless if like, you know, like you've made a whole kind of like shtick on America's Got Talent of being the rejected, constantly
Yes,
rejected.
I'm the best performer on America's Got Talent.
But,
that's my rebrand.
Dude,
I'm
they're constantly bringing you back because, like I said, you're a spectacle, man. You really are, and like not just a spectacle like a trick. You're a spectacle with talent, and like that.
Thank you.
I mean, some of my favorite memories are like doing the Hopefully Chris Pratt Shane Hartline show. Like, I'll never forget like hearing people's reactions of the snake.
Look into my eyes, Shane. Oh, Shane, you smell so nice. I'm gonna have to use my dark magic, Shane.
I mean, what character, what animal character, like, do you feel most connected to? Like, what's the one that like means the most to you?
Honestly, the snake is definitively like I think it's
Was that like the first
shocking-
one that you did?
It was the very first one on TV. And it was the first character that I kind of was like, because in the beginning, I didn't even call it like Sethward the Snake. It was when I was doing things like the greatest fisherman that ever existed and like Two Kids in a Trench Coat. They were all like kind of human versions of like the freak, the guy born without any lips. They were like characters. So then this character was called like the human snake because I was obviously not a snake, but I was like half human, half snake. And that to me was like a terrifying image. And then if I could swallow another human on stage, that was like the bit that it's like, what would a human snake do? He's like hungry, they eat. They're also really creepy, but the funniest thing about a snake, and I say this to everyone about these
Oh yeah,
animal
please
characters,
fucking tell me what's funny about a
the
snake.
funniest thing, I'm gonna get canceled for this, but I'm content with getting canceled for this bit.
You said the word.
Snakes are funny because they don't have any arms and they don't have any legs. Did you know that? Snakes don't have any arms and they don't have legs.
I'm worried to say anything right now.
and then everyone's terrified of them and they don't have any arms and they don't have any legs.
Dude, yeah, but they're terrifying.
But they have such high status. But have you ever seen a
You
snake?
have a pet snake.
Yes, and you watch that snake, they'll climb up something and then they like, they can't grab
so
onto
funny.
it. And they fall.
So funny.
They slam a snake falling out of a tree. Very funny stuff.
That's my fucking nightmare, Seth. Like, that's my living fucking... That's just falling...
But think about it. If there was a human snake, right? He's essentially a quadriplegic that you're terrified of. See, it's very funny.
I don't know.
If you're terrified, like, what is a quadriplegic going to do to you?
Seth, there's a lot that a quadriplegic can do.
But imagine a quadriplegic.
You're telling me, and telling
like,
me...
and then trying to bite you, like...
You're telling me, Seth, that...
They're going over and they're just like, be scared of me.
I don't find any of this funny, or I think that a quadriplegic can do everything that I can.
I do too, and that's why
You need to put a disclaimer. And we're going to stop the show right now. Put a disclaimer.
the last
This is gonna
episode
go,
of content.
No. This is going to go before the speech about the quadriplegic. So disclaimer. Shane Hartline does not share the same views as Sethward, but Sethward, do you want to say anything before this part of the show?
All views and opinions expressed in this episode do not reflect
Shane Hartline.
Shane Hartline Industries.
Industries?
But the thing that I was trying to get at is
There's people that are quads.
that are
Are they called
terrifying.
quads?
They're called
There's
quads.
people that are quads that are from shark attacks.
But I'm not laughing at humans. I'm laughing at snakes who have lived this long in the evolution of animals and never once was like, you know what, let's grow some freaking feet, dude. We could grow some feet. Like over the
Do you think that's how it
millions of
happens? They
years-
just start thinking about it?
Yeah, because they're like, we don't need them. We can be terrifying because we're going to just grow.
Okay,
like,
well, let's do an
fangs. I
act
don't
here.
know.
What do you think you need to evolve with your future,
Oh,
Sethwards?
man.
So start thinking about it right now.
First of all, if I had just one extra finger, I think I could do a lot. Like, can you imagine just giving somebody a high five and you're just like,
Yeah, that'd
wait
be
a
crazy.
minute. I always wish that I had extra digits. I wish that I had like a tail. That would be so great. That'd
You know
be
what
so
I
fun.
would say? Bigger pecker.
Yeah.
I want my future sons to have a better
Honestly,
crack at this thing.
You truly would be. I think you can get away. Well, I don't know. I take
With
that back.
a little pecker?
I think the smaller the wiener is, the funnier you are. And if you're trying to be a really funny
Because you're trying
comedian-
harder.
Yeah.
If I had
No
a big
pun
old
intended.
if I had a big old pecker, I probably wouldn't be as successful.
You truly don't have to be. I think the most successful people in the world.
And I want to put a disclaimer out there on that. It's fine. I landed a pretty hot chick.
I did. Whoa. I thought. Okay. Sorry.
What did you think I was gonna say? What did you think I was about to say?
I came out of the womb with a big old wiener.
Good
is
for
what
you,
I thought
man.
you were gonna say.
No.
Okay. Well,
No. Well, sure. Yeah, we could play the bit. I came out with the same size. It never changed.
it never changed.
So there were a couple years I was fucking.
You were a hog, man.
Yeah.
You had.
Now I grew out of it. Let's pivot.
We just lost half of the audience.
Hey, that's
talking about
okay.
Wieners.
And if they left, I didn't want them in the first place.
Hey, that's right. Thanks for sticking around after all.
Our gut genuinely is like, no, we need every viewer.
We must have. This is why.
My foot is itching. Do you notice the
You have
mosquitoes
a
in
rash.
Los Angeles? It's not a rash, it's mosquitoes. We were
Oh.
shooting at Jana's house recently, and it was night, and I
Get a close up on this. rat.
no, I don't wanna. I'm self-conscious. No, but
No, mosquitoes are insane.
When did they come out
It
here?
was like right when the pandemic was like getting settled in. I think
I don't
they
like
were
that.
not here.
No,
That you have them like crazy in Florida.
Florida. Yeah, that's
In
one of
Texas, the worst thing. My dad almost died from a mosquito.
the. No shit.
And then 10 years later did die, which I think took 10 years off of his life.
The bite? What did he
Because
get? What
it
did
was
he
West
get?
Nile.
He got it?
He got one of the worst cases in the panhandle of Texas, one of the worst West Nile cases, and who survived. Most people who
Oh my
had that
God.
kind of effects just passed away.
That was one of the reasons. That was one of the best things about moving out here was that, yeah, for me from Florida, no more mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Sold.
Dude, I mean, there was a lot of things coming from, windy.
Now what are
panhandle
we
of
doing
Texas.
here? What are we even doing here?
Expensive. Hard work doesn't even get you jobs.
No.
What? There's mosquitoes.
Yeah, it's,
We're having to fight off wolves. Have you seen
Joe
the wolf?
Rogan's not here anymore.
Yeah, no. There's a lot of but LA is still an insane place. I think just people don't realize the concentrated amount of insane opportunities that happen every single day. The things that you fall into.
Yeah, I mean, this industry
That's
is
wild.
it's a
It's
drug.
still wild.
I was another thing I was talking to my therapist about yesterday is like this industry, this career, everything about it feels like being, or what I would assume. I shouldn't cast judgment, but like what I assume being a drug addict would feel like.
Sure.
In that I've had, like, a few years ago, I had a really great year in the business, and a lot of the things I achieved happened just by waking up to an amazing email, like, and that was just the biggest dopamine hit, and
Yeah.
and it's like,
Yeah.
I'm constantly, like yesterday, to be very open and transparent, like one of the things I was feeling really low because, and I was like trying to answer why I was feeling that, and I really think it was I am craving a spike, a piece of good news, something to, like, you know, feed that addiction.
Yeah.
You know, because we're all
Yeah.
kind of delusional addicts. That we're all delusional addicts to want to do this crazy fucking industry.
Yeah, you put it that way. It makes me.
I mean,
we
but there's
don't need to be in LA.
well, I mean, I don't know. It's like I love, but the thing is like, is it hard to live out here as an up and coming actor comedian? It's insanely hard right now, but I don't want to leave.
Yeah.
I love it out here. I have so many amazing friends out here.
Well, you say it's hard because there's a lot of things that I think it's the choice. You have so many choices that you can choose. You're gonna go into stand-up. You're gonna make videos online. You're gonna answer that email. You're gonna ignore
There's
that.
almost too many choices.
You have so many here.
Yeah.
Whereas other places you might not have as many choices. So like, I don't know. I think that's honestly the hardest part about LA is that you just have so many. It's like the decision fatigue every single day.
So true.
What are you going to do today?
Decision fatigue, but also this feeling of I'm not doing enough because I see a friend has a show that I'm not a part of, or a friend the comparison.
You have so many people to compare to. So many peers.
So many people that are within like, oh, I could have hopped in the car and I could have been there. Like, and I think so. It's like comparison when you're like on the other side of the country. I don't know that it hits you the same.
Sure, I completely agree with you.
Maybe, I don't know.
Well, because you're not like in a group thread with them. You're not like see them at the same shows. You don't like that. I think it makes you feel like this is such a smaller world. And then you have to take a step back and you're like, they're doing their thing, they're making their choices. I'm making my choice, I'm doing my thing. Like, we're in the same industry, but we're living in different worlds, really.
I don't know if you're like this, like when you consume content. Didn't say content. Said it. I don't know if you're like this when you consume, whether it's like film, television, or like last night when I was at the Casey Rocket show.
Yeah.
Like, I inevitably want to be a part of whatever thing I'm consuming. So, or think like, why didn't I get an opportunity to be a part of this circus? Like, even my history in wrestling has me thinking like, whenever I watch wrestling, I get this itch. I want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
When I go to a stand-up show, I want to be. Yeah. I want to open, or I want to be a part of it. Like, why do I have this undeniable urge to want to perform on so many stages? I don't know if what I admire about you, and tell me if I'm wrong, you're for me, I feel very scattered with or I get worried that people look at me and they're like, what does Shane want to do? But the truth of me is I want to do a lot of things. I want to perform on a lot of different stages. I don't think that's wrong, but I do know we're in a business where it's like, if you don't have a clear, defined fucking brand, we can't understand you.
Yeah, no.
What I admire about you is I see you and I'm like, he's crystal clear. I get him.
Because it's not.
You don't feel that way?
Not at all.
We were holding hands. We don't have to stop.
I don't. I wish that was the case.
Oh, well, to me, it appears that way.
Well, I think that people would think that the same way about you.
And after that, I want to get into potentially making something.
Honestly, I think that's what we've all been told. It's like, don't put too many irons in the fire because then they don't work. You know, not a single thing that you do is going to be good. They're just going to be mediocre. Everything you get into, all your interests will be mediocre because not one of them is iron hot. You know, that's the idea. But I think that, will you be content with one iron in the fire? You're a type of person who has lots of interests, a lot of things they love doing. And in the bottom line is you've got to be happy with the choices that you made, because that's all you have are your choices and the things that you like doing. And then you have to find a way to, when you do ingest things, not feel that the bad, the icky, the jealousy of like, oh, I should be
It's
there.
really not jealousy.
It's just like, oh, I should invest in that. I should get into that.
It's definitely not jealousy. There's not a part of me when I see a friend succeed that I and there's no anger in me. There's truly pure joy for that person.
Yeah.
It's
That's
that
great,
I also I want to be on that stage with them.
Yeah.
Like I
You're I want to play. I want to play.
I want to play.
Yeah.
I want to play is what I feel. It goes back to childhood shit of like, hey, can I be? Oh, you guys are playing Power Rangers. Can I be one of them?
Yeah.
Like. I'll even be the Black Ranger.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
The Black Ranger was fine. He was fun.
No, I meant like
back
back then.
skin.
He was the black guy.
Oh,
Yellow Ranger was the Asian actress. It was fucked
So y'all
up.
were racist.
So in the 90s, things were fucked up. The Black Ranger was the black guy. The Yellow Ranger was the Asian.
The
actor.
Asian girl.
The Blue Ranger
He
was
was
the
the nerd.
nerdy wimpy guy.
See, I wanted to be that guy.
Because he had blue balls.
Well, that actually might be. Wow. Actually, yeah. Actually,
Red Ranger because he was kind of a hothead, maybe.
Didn't wear sunscreen.
He wasn't. Was
That's
he
canon.
Native
That's
American?
Future Republican. That's true.
Wow. Wait, wasn't he? No. The Green Ranger was like.
Green Ranger
He was
Tommy.
white, but they were playing him as a Native American.
We're
right?
on such a tangent, but I love it. I remember
remember
when
anymore.
Power Rangers I was so into it. Jason was the red one until Tommy came along.
Yeah, and then he
Green
took
Ranger.
over. Yeah, and he turned into gold because he was so
Green to
perfect.
gold.
Anyway, getting to the play is what it was.
White Ranger.
Like the
White guy.
the playfulness of seeing people like them playing. I completely agree. I think when I was younger, there was a moment of me being like, what am I doing wrong that I'm not like in these shows? What
Invited
am I, what
into
am
the
I not
circle.
invited? Yeah.
Mhm.
I think I am getting a lot better with like I want to like tap into that play or figure out what my version of that is.
Or create. You're so good at like you've created show and tell. You know
That was a response to, frankly, it was because there wasn't a place to screen sketches. There wasn't at the
still
time.
not that many.
There's a lot more now.
Is there?
There's a lot more, and honestly, I keep finding new ones. I'm like, how long y'all been going? Like, how do I not know about it? I'm like running one. But when we were younger, I mean, maybe there were more and we just didn't know about it. But like, I talked to a collection of friends who were all making very specifically like sketches or things for the internet. We were like making things to put on our YouTube. And we had Channel 101, which you had to do a 5-minute, but it had to be a pilot. It couldn't be a sketch.
I still believe that is happening.
It is still happening. It's slowly.
By the way, I have a great idea for what we can make together, but continue.
Great. But
Just hit me.
that was essentially me being like, I kept making these pilots that were 5 minutes and they weren't getting into. I think we made like 7 of them.
Yeah, I
We
did
never
quite a
got
few.
in.
We did sort of Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
Oh my god, that was the scariest thing ever.
It was terrifying.
You'll get used to it. Okay, boys, I don't want to leave, but I have to. The funner introductions are about to begin.
Was that the first one that you got in?
You shot that. That's right. That was one of the first things I think we made together.
That's right
back in
at the
day.
warehouse.
Yeah, and you lived in NoHo, like across from that.
Wait,
That
was
warehouse
the
was
first
so-
Channel 101?
That was the first thing I made at Channel.
Okay.
But that was that we rented this warehouse for very affordable.
Yeah.
But I remember how massive it was.
It was
For
huge.
such a small space we
Yeah.
shot in. I was like, this is so overkill. But
Yeah. It was great.
But yeah, sorry, continue.
That was all I was saying is that I was like, we want to have a party and we want to like get together. We want to screen, but we didn't have a place that we could. There was a couple of things that were going on at El Cid. Michael, forgot his last name, was putting on like short film nights.
Okay.
And we'd screen there, but it was always like, there was a cover, then there was 2-drink minimum. That was like, it was hard to get people to go to. So we just, it was out of like, we want to get people together and watch our stuff together and have a deadline.
Yeah. That's a really good
So we
perk
made our
of it.
own. Like that's
You
the other
constantly
thing.
are asking me to throw up stuff, but my thing that I struggle with is when I make something, I want to just post it and get it out there as quick as possible.
That's the biggest problem with show and tell is that we make it so that it can't be published, but it's also so that we make new stuff. But then it also makes the new stuff not be
It's a good test
able
too
to
to-
screen because
Yep,
it's already online. So, but anyway, we made our own problems with the show, but.
It's such a special thing. Again, if you're in Los Angeles, if you're coming to visit, what is your Instagram? What is the show and tell Instagram?
It's Show Tell Show. That's the URL.
And what's yours?
everything.
Sethward?
Sethward without the vowels because I couldn't afford them. You know?
Yeah, vowels are.
Somebody took the Sethward username. If you own SETHWARD,
Are they just sitting on it?
Yeah, they're just sitting on it.
Bitch.
They're not even using
You
it.
hearing me? Bitch.
Yeah. It's probably somebody with their real name Seth and their last name Ward. So.
Here's my idea. Let me know
Tell
what you think.
me, I want to make.
Okay. So because you're late because you got a really hot haircut, our next guest, which
I had planned it when I thought we were going to be
dude,
doing it at 2:30.
it's my fault.
I'm
It's my fault.
sorry.
No, you were very accommodating to switch the times. Our next guest, which is coming next week, is one of my close friends, Tim DeLamont.
Yes.
So what I thought would be funny is one first question. What is the animal you brought?
I brought the snake.
You brought the snake.
Yeah.
Love that. Two, now my head's really spinning. How long does it take you to get into the outfit?
Probably like 5.
5 minutes.
Yeah,
Okay.
not too bad.
What if we surprise Tim or something with you, like coming from somewhere, like the guest bedroom, because he'll be here in 5 minutes.
Okay.
So what if we wrap this episode up here, and in next week's episode, you can see Sethward somehow surprise Tim in his episode at some point. Like, feel free to come out, even if you want to get out. You can come in the beginning, whenever you want. But I would love the idea of him not knowing you're here.
Love that.
And then we just fucking surprise him.
Let's do it. I'm so into
Just
it.
another thing, don't break anything, because my wife is Puerto Rican and Mama knows how to use the chancla.
Yeah, and you've learned this. You've messed up in your time
I've messed
as
up
a
in my
married
time.
man, and you now don't want to.
I don't want to mess up no more.
Yeah.
I won't mess
You
up
don't
no
want to
more.
mess up no more.
If she hits you, that's elder abuse.
I am 1 year older.
Mommy chunkla getting hostile.
Elderly abuse. I'm going to start.
Elder.
I need to also, disclaimer, my wife doesn't hit me. That's a funny thing. Like, I put out content with Gabby that where she hits me with a sandal. You wouldn't believe how many comments are like, spousal abuse isn't
By
funny.
the
Like,
way,
abuse isn't
yeah,
funny.
by the
Like,
way,
do
you
you
shouldn't-
think it's real, you dumbass? Like, like, fuck. Before you go throw this costume on, what is the dumbest comments you get?
The one that's really popular right now is I ate Grace Lusk, who's a good friend of mine on the Las Vegas Strip, as the snake. Though honestly, she was one of the first female people. I don't usually do females because I never wanted to get into the whole thing, and this is why, because the internet is ablaze. You know that because they think that she's just a stranger that I just picked up off the street, and they were like, "That's assault." I'd throw his blankety blank in jail. Like, I'd shoot him in the face. Like, blah blah blah. And like, can't believe he assaulted that woman.
I get
Probably
similar with the
grabbed her
baby
boobs.
bodyguard stuff that
I'm
we've
like,
done.
dude, you shove those people so far, like they go flying. Like, if you shove a person,
would
they
be in
don't
jail.
jump and
But
fly
also,
back.
I
Like,
would be in jail. Do you think that it would
yeah.
just happen and nobody would arrest me?
Then you put it online.
And then I would post it?
I guess the idea is that we're normalizing it, and then people who are dumb see it and are like, "Oh, I can do that because I'm gonna make a video or something." And then I'm like, "Okay, sure. Like, if you're gonna go make a snake costume and then go eat people on the street, like, you're already insane. Like, you're probably gonna have checks and bounce. Like, you're gonna have that figured out before that happens. I don't know.
Maybe actually change upstairs.
Okay.
Will it be hard? I don't want you to fall down the stairs.
I will fall down the stairs.
Okay, then let's do it in here. And I could tell Tim.
No, I can fall down the stairs.
No, let's hide you in my office. There's just a bathroom in here, so I bet he'll have to
It
pee.
is funny if you flop down the stairs.
I just don't want to break anything. Like,
For sure.
this is
The only thing that's gonna break is my rib.
okay. Yeah, all right. Just go upstairs. Just don't.
Okay,
Because
all
then
right.
if he has to pee, then it's not weird.
Wait, so-
don't-
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is like I could send him upstairs, but yeah, I don't want to make it
Do you
like.
want me to? How do you want me to?
You should get the costume.
I
now.
surprise him.
Start doing it now. Start. You
I
can keep talking.
surprise him.
Costume's
and then-
here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't rush.
He hasn't texted me yet.
Yeah, just let this happen.
Oh, I didn't know you were gonna change in front of me.
This is the content we're making.
Great. Here, I'll take the mic and hold it near you.
Mm-hmm. Take the mic off me.
What's the most difficult costume to put on?
Well, right now the goat is insane because he also has these stilts that I welded and they're not made properly, and it's incredibly painful. But the most difficult costume overall is probably the giraffe because it's the stilts. I don't have a aluminum welder. I only have like steel. So the stilts are all made out of just heavy steel, and they're really they're like huge front stilts, back stilts. And it's just hard to get on and off, and it's heavy and it's big. So
all right, so don't go out there.
Your wife's out here.
No, just there's children that live across the way, and
Okay, here's the other thing, Shane. What is wrong with a child seeing this? What's wrong with that?
I feel nervous to say anything in response to this also.
Yeah, no, I get it. That's fair.
Like, let's go up here.
Yeah. I'll follow you up,
Let's
and
follow you up the stairs. Let's follow you up the stairs.
and I'll bring your stuff so it's not.
And we'll just shoot you up here changing.
Oh damn, your phone's down here.
Gabby right now.
She is working,
Oh,
and I'm not.
This is gonna get like so many views. Shane Hartline.
But a very weird
hangs
audience.
out with a weird guy in underwear.
Oh, I need my phone in case Tim. Here, hold this, Kyle.
Yeah.
I can also put that.
Put this on your ear.
For now, just use it and.
I do want to hear you use about how nudity isn't on its own an issue. It's that we project.
Yeah, that's right, Kyle. That's right. Nudity on its own isn't a crime. Well, I guess it is a crime, but it shouldn't be. It's not, there's nothing wrong with the human body. It's what humans do with their naked body that's the problem. So if I go outside in just this, we shouldn't have a problem. If I went outside in this and I started chasing people and are like, come here, I'm gonna do whatever I want to your body, that's the problem. But in a society, you don't want to even get close to that kind of stuff.
But in Europe, they've got like nude beaches and like sometimes girls walk around topless. It's fine.
Because we're not caught up in that insanity. What, I'm missing a piece of this
Is it down here?
leotard
Yep.
so that I'm not in underwear. Wait, where did I put it?
It's down here.
Oh, it is? Whoops, sorry. Oh, and that little black box.
Okay.
That's where the teeth are. Man, we're going to be so content after this. Every time you have to pay
Put in another sound effect. Should you do it to me or Tim?
I'll do stuff to both of you.
Okay.
What is that stuff you've been mean? Like you? I don't know. Do I look like a future president of the United States?
You look like a very
with a
like.
bandage on
No politics on this show. So.
no politics. Who are you voting for? Here, is this better? Does this sound better?
Yeah, it's just funny.
Are you sponsored by Rody for wasn't this a genius move by this company
So
to be
genius.
like, we're gonna put our logo right here, and what you want to do to get the best sound quality is you're gonna clip it on so that the camera can see what it is.
You know what other company did something? Are you doing it to your chest hair?
It's like
You're doing. You know what other camera or other company did something similar? Was those the mics that everyone uses on podcasts? I believe they have their logo like right on the end
front.
of.
And you're like, you actually have to turn the microphone so it gets good quality audio. You have to turn it this way
So it aims.
so the logo's
Yep.
facing out.
Yep.
It's like so genius.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this is the new design that I made in Italy.
Oh.
And it's very inappropriate for American audience. You have to shove it up. This whole thing
Your
has to
butthole?
go up my butt.
What is that? What is that part?
Turn around. Let me see what you're doing.
It's essentially a pad for the skeleton of a snake.
I
You
see.
see? Yeah. See how this works?
And is that something you learned it needed over time?
It's something that was like, it was around my neck at one
Oh.
point. And in Italy, whenever I was doing the show, the showrunner, who's also the host of the show, she was like being very specific with everything that was going on in the show. And anything that was like slightly dangerous.
I got to cut that other camera. I'm sorry. I'm listening.
She was
I'm listening.
not into it. So, like the chicken and the egg, I ended up not being able to do the egg because she was like, it's too dangerous, you're going to die. So she cut the egg.
Careful of that face.
Oh. I'm telling you, she'll hit me.
Just blame it on me and let her hit me. Because there's no law against friend abuse.
But is this considered animal cruelty?
Animal cruelty. Could be. Well, it's quadriplegic cruelty. It's a whole nother. It's a hate crime at this point.
Oh, tell me a bit about you both. You both have been live streaming with.
Oh yes.
Oh, Blake Rozier.
Oh, your brother Blake.
My brother Blake. Who he was gonna come on today, but he didn't know if he'd be back from San Francisco in time.
Oh, that's right.
Man, what a crazy kind of specific thing he's opened.
So he's like, talk about choices that you can make in this life, in this industry, in this town. Like he invented a new choice. It feels like.
Yeah, it's a new.
It's like, I mean, we're all like, we've all had the ability to stream. This isn't a new thing, but the way he's streaming, it's like he's making like this. It's not like it's like the concept of like a gamer, right?
Mm-hmm.
How gamers just like stream while they're playing a video game, so they're just hanging out. And he was like, we're gonna take away the game, but we'll leave the hanging, and then we'll make it to where it's still interesting and fun for people to want to join.
Have you done the animals in live streams yet?
I tried.
How did that go?
Not good.
Oh, really?
For how much work it is, and then how much time I have to be in the costume, and then people don't care. They would rather have me talking to them about what did I eat this morning for breakfast than to see me as a snake going, somebody wanna be eaten today?
I can't wait to have Blake on here to talk a bit more in depth on it, but he's making a fortune just doing these streams.
It's amazing.
Like, and accepting challenges to go to like Las Vegas.
Yeah,
and,
that's a new thing that he's doing is like send me somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It started with just pay me to shout stuff in public.
Yeah, shout
Pretty
stuff.
pretty impressive.
And then the money kept. So now he's just thinking of like, well, how can I raise the stakes?
I'm gonna actually I'm gonna give this to you for a second. I'm gonna change my T-shirt for the next episode.
Yeah.
So I do want to wrap this this episode up because I want to charge that camera a bit before Tim gets here. But this is a little taste. This is a little taste of what you're gonna get in next week's episode. Sethward, thank you for being here.
Hey, thank you, Shane.
Thank you.
Oh,
This isn't the first time I've hugged your bear skin.
oh, I'm a snake, not a bear.
Okay.
What am I doing with my life?
He's gonna be contest. Sethward is coming to town. He's coming to town. He's gonna be contest. Sethward is coming to town. He's coming to town. He's gonna be contest. Sethward is coming to town. He's coming to town. He's gonna be contest. Sethward is coming to town. He's coming to town. He's gonna be contest. Sethward is coming to town. He's coming to town. He's gonna be contest. Sethward is coming to town. He's coming to town. Sethward is content. Sethward is content. Sethward is content.